Hi everyone, my name is Saheed Adebayo Gbadegeshin. I'm from Higher Colleges of Technology in Align Main Campus, United Arab Emirates. I'm going to put you through briefly on one of our articles, which is being co-authored with my colleagues and friends from Kayan University of Applied Science in Finland. The title of our article is Overcoming the Veiling of Death, a new model for high technology startups. Uh, what did uh, this article do on VOD? Actually, this article examines relevance a 60 model of VOD, why it focused on high technology and digitalized startups, because those are the new type of startup that we have been experiencing in the world for the past 5 years. And this auto article based on the lessons learned from the various studies that I and my team did some years back, starting from 2012. And so examples, we focus so much on on commercialization of high technology. For example, challenges that high technology are facing while commercializing them, as also the process and the different models to be used for commercializing high technology. Based on the lessons we learned on this article combined both of them together to work or to contribute to VOD. How did this article go about its aim on VOD? This article tried to ask three questions and provide answers to these questions. Number one, what is the meaning of VOD? And what actually causes VOD? And how this VOD can be managed or overcome in a high-tech based startups. Then a mixed research method was used. And the first one was systematic literature review, and the second one was qualitative research method. How did SL was done in this article? The following activities were done. Firstly, we try to define the searching terms for systematic literature review, which includes some things like a value of dead VOD itself. We used a VOD on technology, on innovation, and several things relating to VOD. After that, we decided on what type of databases we need to use. Firstly, we considered free database, which is Google Scholar. We use that one, and we use several paid database like Ebiscode, Host, Science Direct, Elsevier database, and etc. We use all these databases to search for the relevant articles. When we found these articles, we tried to read, firstly read them. When we say pre-reading, we focus so much about the title, abstract, and introduction. And from there, we selected the relevant articles in literature. And for pre-reading, we read more than 3,000 articles. And from there, when we went through all these introductions and the abstract, we were able to narrow down from 3,000 plus to something around 600. Then we started to now select the relevant one, which we ended up to have 120 articles. And we then analyzed these materials quantitatively, qualitatively. What I mean by qualitatively is that we use content analysis and thematic analysis tools to analyze these articles. And these the findings we have, I mean, the brief findings, codings, everything we made from this article can be actually found online based on this title of article. We call it collated article on VOD. It's available online. You can have access. What actually are the findings of this article? Well, we group them into two because of literature review we did and empirical finding because of the interview. For the both of them, we found out that VOD, especially theoretical part, we found out them that the term VOD actually was used interchangeably with several words, which make it very difficult to be understood. They use some words like chism, they use so many things. And you can read the article to understand them. And because of different terms they use with VOD, it has different meaning. And with this different meaning, definitely many things were not considered. For example, VOD was described as a gap of what? Of activities that are not completed or partly done or delayed. And some also scholars use different perspective, yes, to define their VOD, to explain the VOD, to outline the causes of VOD, and eventually propose some VOD models and recommendations, which they are not actually useful or not highly relevant for the current digitalized startups or high-tech based companies. Also, we found out that VOD actually focus on technology. Yeah, it's very good, based on technology innovations, not so much about service oriented or common business operations. And we learned from these theoretical findings that these are the causes of VOD. Number one, limited funding or financial related problems, which many, or let's say more than 90% of articles focus on, and some of them focus on the resource and the lack of resource of collaboration, poor understanding of business environment, high estimation of risk, or sometimes some scholars also argue that many business startups could not actually estimate at all about the risk involved in their business. One of those things that was really surprising the finding was insufficient time. So with me, business need time to be anemic. Startup need business need time to commercialize or to make their technology very useful or to be able to pass through VOD. For empirical findings, we noticed that our interviewed companies which are tied to Venice startups actually experience VOD at various stage of their development. So it means when they express it this year or next year and they move forward a little bit, it can still come back to them. They can still express it at the next stage of their the growth or development. Another thing is that from the company we interviewed, some were able to pass through VOD successfully, and they have a lot of strategies put in place, which we explain in the article. And some were still, as at the point of interview, were still struggling with it. And few startup actually were trapped. This really needs to be explained. What we mean by trapped? This company, they were getting money, but they couldn't still get enough money to proceed to out of the VOD to generate a lot of money. And what we learned from a couple of company like this, they were technology, medical related technology company, which we actually from experience understood, like from medical related technology is different from other common technology like ICT, like clean tech. But medical one is really, really difficult. And they got more money because they get many investors. One, the people or investors definitely understood the importance of that of technology. And when we're talking about the health, it's not something that everybody is playing with. So that could be one of reasons from our empirical interpretation that many of these companies were actually trapped. And we found out different um, strategies or logic or system or idea or something that's very common among these companies that were able to pass through and those who are still managing or struggling with them VOD. And these are the things we mentioned. They mentioned they're talking about very good team, relevance of technology. They talk about skill and competencies. They talk about IPR, networking, proper sale model, and customer creation communication. So based on this knowledge, we contribute in this article with another thing, which is what we call, we give another definition for VOD. Number one, we said VOD is a challenge that entrepreneurs, business owners, technology experts, as well as inventors need to consider. So it's a challenge. Either you belong to one of these groups, you need to consider them. And you consider them as part of business development. You can't escape them, but you just consider them prepared to pass through. Is it the team building the first thing that we need to do right now, or we need to focus on technology development, or we need to look for collaboration? So with this, so when they rank this thing and they work on them after 3 months, they have to reevaluate their business, evaluate the business, I mean their startup situation. And from there, they we see that many the gap or the tendency or the problem posed by the VOD will be reducing. Eventually, the VOD will be lightening little by little, and this will be building what we call bridge over this VOD and the company through them. In conclusion, this article concluded notice that it's very serious problem that VOD is very is a big challenge for the startups, and at the same time, it can be well managed based on the proposal of model, our model that we proposed. And we also concluded that this new model can be exploited by any company, which as we did in the article, because we piloted this BSM, and we concluded also that for the scholars, they can also try to use this model and see how it can be useful in terms of theoretical foundation, as well for the practitioners. They can also try to use this model to improve their business operations. Thank you very much. If you need further information about the article or about the something related VOD, you are free to contact me with these two emails or WhatsApp chat. And these are the